Good morning, everyone. It's Linda from LindaZ's in Arlington Heights, Illinois. I hope you're going to grab a cup of coffee or tea or a glass of water and join us for a really fun thing about this quilt behind me. You know, I've mentioned many times that when we do quilts and we give them away, we sometimes give them to people and then they give them somewhere else, and then your name is forgotten. So we want to talk about the quilt labels today, done on this brand new, beautiful Bernina. It's a new, what they call the Peacock, a 790 SE. We do have a quilt label on here that we're going to show you how to make it smaller when it's not quite, when it's a little too large. And we're going to show you a couple little techniques about different types of notions that I think are really important for you to have in your sewing basket or sewing arena. And then I have about 4 or 5 quilts that I think you're going to really like to see. So I want to get started by showing you this label. It is a quilt label that's already been done. And what is really cool about it is that it's got a lot of metallic in it. And I'm going to show you when you see this, this is a kit and it's called Christmas Kisses, which is kind of fun. And when you see this, I'm going to show you what the actual quilt looks like. And Debbie, I might have you help me with a little, my camera lady here is going to come in and
I'm not
show
your
us
camera lady
something.
anymore.
No, you're the helper.
I'm the quilt holder now.
Okay. Careful, there's a needle in there.
Oh, where's the needle?
It's right up here by the binding.
Okay.
And you can see, let's see, I guess we're the other way. You can kind of see the kisses in there when it gets, see how cool it is?
Oh, it's pretty in person.
Yeah, let's bring it over all the way this way. Okay. You see it?
Oh, yeah.
Cool?
That's
Yeah.
really pretty.
Now this background right here on the corner, that's all metallic. You'll see there's a lot of metallic in this one here. So I couldn't find the exact fabric. Always keep your little, I'm telling you what to do, not what I did. Always keep your scraps, because then you can go ahead and take one of the scraps. And if you want to look at the back of this, you'll see it's got quite a bit of metallic in it. And I'm going to put this on it, which will really be fun. It'll show up a little bit. I like to put mine on the bottom if there is a top and a bottom on quilts. Some of them there are. And either the left or the right side, it really doesn't matter, whatever you like. Now, when we get started with this, you can see this beautiful iron, the Laura Star system behind me. I always take the cotton, because this is a woven fabric, and I always take a Heat and Stay Fusible by R&K, by Floriani, and I fuse it to the back, or the back of the fabric. And then, can you see something here on the top of the fabric? This is the water soluble, and I'm going to pull it off. See how it comes off? Real easy. I'm going to pull it off all the way around it. There's a little bit over there. Now there's still some in the center. I'm going to get rid of that too. And I'll just take my finger. See how I'm pulling it? It's all off. Now I'll put it down so you can see it a little bit better. And you see how it says, I always put the name of the quilt, usually at the top. This is called Christmas Kisses. Then I do, if you can see, the made by LindaZ, or whoever it would be. And then I usually like to put the date. I think that's really important. And of course, if you have something special thing that you're doing, you would put that in there also. But if you notice what I did on this border, the border is done with a metallic thread, and there's actually 2 threads here. And then the second thread is done with a red, and it's a very fine thread. It's called the Quilter Select. It is, it's an actual 80 weight thread, and we do have it in the store, so you would have to call for it. I think we have it in about, oh, I don't know, 40, 50 colors. It's quite a few colors, so you can always get something that would really work. But once you have that that quilt and, you know, that thing done, you're going to unscrew the hoop, and you're going to just pop this out. And there is a wonderful little tool that I don't have handy with me right now, but where you can pop it out. And then you're going to take your pinking shears if you have them. If not, it doesn't matter. Just take a scissor, kind of press it to the back like we did on this Laura Star, and then you're going to hand whip it with this wonderful little tool here. In fact, some of you have asked me to repeat this because this is something we've done a lot. These are the applique needles that we use when we do that, and I have one in here. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty fine. Maybe if I put it up there. You can see how that applique needle is stuck into that little hole of the threader. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this thread and I'm going to take this little white button and I'm just going to click it down, make sure the thread is in there, and then do you see how that thread threads every single time perfectly? See how I turn it around? See that little hole there? Look at, boom, 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 and you're threaded perfectly. You don't even have to look at it. It just threads it so beautifully. Now there is another one that we've just come up with recently, and Debbie, you can say this better than I can. The French, Bobbin, Bobbin, B-O-H-I-N, sure, Bobbin. And it has two places for the needle to thread, just like I did there too, just a little thing in the middle, and one fine one and one larger one. So if you're watching TV and you want to be able to do your quick binding like I have done on this quilt, you can see, I'm not going to go into all the binding, but I do have a needle that I've threaded with that the purple one, and I just go in and out and in and out, and it's just going to be a real quick fix to finish the binding. I'm going to go around the corner and I'll be done in just a few minutes. So this is one of the things that I think people are really missing on their quilts, is not having the label. So many times I see you bringing it into the store and I think it's just a gorgeous quilt and you're giving it away to somebody, and I always think, oh, you've got to make sure that you're going to really put a good label on there so they know what it is. Now, let me show you this quilt thing again. This package looks a lot different than it does. It's called the Christmas Kisses, but you can see whatever color you're putting in the lighter weight, that's why it's going to stand out so well. Now, I want to show you something else that I think is really a key thing, and that's at this ironing board behind me. I took this fabric, and then I'm going to bring Debbie in to show you. And I have a piece of the heat and stay stabilizer that I'm going to put on here. And all I'm going to do is from this side of the stabilizer, I'm going to bring it over. And first, I'm going to give myself a facial.
No, you're not.
No.
You're so bad.
Well, the iron went off.
Yeah.
If I have to turn it back on.
Oh, well, good.
I love this iron.
She's just joking, everyone. Do not do this at home.
But it is really a great iron, and you'll see in a minute, because if you see this point right here, that's where your steam comes out where it should. And it's filtered. It's from Switzerland, and it's got a tank underneath, and that water is just, it's got a little filter in it, but it's regular tap water. You don't have to use your regular, distilled water.
And it has time to cool off in the pipe, in the
right.
the tube that's coming from the boiler. So that's why she thinks she can give herself a facial without hurting herself too much.
Hear that little note? Now watch what's going to happen here. Can you see that? You literally can put your hand in front of this. It doesn't get on your face and whatnot. But the great part, it still is hot. But that tube and this cord is what recirculates that steam through. And it is certified that it will kill COVID. I'm amazed. I knew that it would be. Eventually they would come out with it. They went through all the labs and everything and found that it did work. So now I'm going to take my pad, and I'm going to put this down with the fabric down, the stabilizer on top, and I don't want the steam on this, so I can take the button on this iron here, and I just press it. Hear that turn off? And now all this will do, it will just give me lots of pressure as I go through this. Lots of pressure. It's very hot. It's going to steam it, and it's going to fuse it to the back of the fabric. And what's really great, if you don't have one of these wool pressing pads, every person should have this in their stash for sewing. Now you can see that this stabilizer is on there pretty good. And now we have it on the hoop in the machine, because I'll show you the quilt that is going to be, well, I don't have the quilt. Do we have
on
the
wall
here? Oh, Sarah. Okay. It's behind me. And you can see this is the kit. And Debbie, what's it called? Kit Amalfi? The Amalfi Coast. How do you say that?
Amalfi, it's probably Italian. I don't know where the Amalfi Coast is.
So it's on the Italian coast, don't you think?
I don't know. Sounds pretty Italian to me.
Yeah, so
or
anyway,
Spanish,
look
maybe.
at the beautiful colors. There's peaches and kind of a dark and a light shade. There's metallic in here. There's a shade of gray blue. I love this turquoise and gold.
And the fabrics have a lot of beachy scenes in them too. They're really fun.
Yeah.
In the center.
Yeah, they're really, that's
Beach
cotton and
balls.
steel. And so now we're going to put a little turtle on here, but the turtle somehow is too big for the, we want to put the writing on the inside of the turtle. So how do I do that, Debbie?
Okay, all right. So we took one of the designs that are built in to the machine, which is this outline of, you can see the outline of the turtle, and we placed some words on the inside. And over here on the right of my screen, you can see the layers of embroidery. And so at first we brought in the turtle first, and he has an open center. Then we brought in made with love, the words made with love. Then we brought in by Nana, and then we brought in September 2020. So just to show you. So basically I left one of the layers here, too large. He's not fitting inside of the tortoise. So here I'm going to choose that one, which is my top layer. And I'm in the edit function here on the right. So I'm going to go into my eye function, and I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to the sizing icon. So I'll show you that again. The sizing icon is the second one down on the left, sizing. And I'm going to bring it down to, I think I was at 25%. So bring it down just by turning my knobs here on the right. I'm bringing my size down, and this lock in the center means that I'm keeping it all at the same proportionate size. That's correct. So let's bring it down. Let me just see real quick what my other layers were. Oh, because I already had it. Yeah, let's see. So that's good. Let me bring it actually up to, okay, so I'm going to just bring that guy. My September, I'm going to bring it up to big enough to fill the turtle. And now it's, I'm a little bit too close to the middle line, so I'm going to go back into the move, which is the upper left hand icon, and I'm going to move it down a hair or two, and then I'm going to move it to the left a little bit, to center it a little bit in the turtle, down to the left. There you go. So that looks like that is ready to go. So now I'm going to X out of there, and I'm going to start to sew. So it calibrates it, says get ready. And I just made it monochrome because we're going to stitch it all out. I don't know if you can see at the corner of the machine over here, we're doing it all in coral. Mm-hmm. So we're all ready to go, and all we have to do is press go, which is pretty cool. Down here, I just have a green light, press and hold my green light, and off we go to the races.
Nice.
So you have other things to show while this is stitching out?
While that is stitching out, I'm going to show you another.
Can we hear okay?
Yeah, I think they can. Okay. Another kit, and I'm going to have you help me show this, Debbie. Okay. This is just beautiful. It's by Moda. It's stiletto, and the fabrics are just luscious. See how they're little triangles here? It looks like very soft and kind of taupey and beiges. You do not see the beauty of this quilt until it's done. So I'm going to pull the done one out. It's not finished. This came off the long arm. And look at how beautiful. You see that? Isn't that just gorgeous? You see it that way? Can you get it? And then I'm going to turn it around because I want you to see the back. Now this quilt...
you can see the quilting as much on the front as the back.
I mean, it's just so beautiful. This quilt was pieced by my sister Joan, and she's becoming quite an amazing quilter. And we're just thrilled that she's making some of our samples. So
you want to show the back?
I have another sister, Joan and Carol, both of them.
You have multiple sisters, Mom.
I do. And they're all great quilters.
They're all great quilters.
So look, I don't know if you can get up close. If we can put it maybe under this camera. Can you see it, Nick? Where, let me see.
Some of the quilting details?
Yeah. I mean, just look at how gorgeous it is. See how pretty some of these are? I mean, they're just really amazing what we've done on them. There we go. Mm-hmm. And Debbie, that's pretty easy to do the circles, right?
Sure.
Yeah. For most of us.
It's fun. I mean, this was done with rulers.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It's a really fun quilt.
And then the fills in between. we're done free motion.
Yeah.
So
let's,
some of the fills here. I don't know if you can see any of that, but some of the fill here.
So this is really gorgeous, gorgeous. Look at these diamonds that are done. And then little tiny circles around here. I mean, really, really beautiful. Now, in order to do this, we're going to put, you can leave that up a minute, Debbie.
For the label?
This is going to be the label. It is really a wonderful diamond. It's got a lot of taupe and gray in it. And if you look at the back side, again, this is the heat and stay. I take mine and put this Hugo tape over it, which is wonderful. If you don't have this is fabulous.
To label your stabilizer, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then what I do, because then I've got mine all the time that I can use, and I put it up and, you know, wrap it around, because I use this a lot. Now, the other thing that I use, the heat and stay that, like I said, is really important, is going to go on the back. But then I'm also going to use this one, which is the water soluble. And the water soluble is, we did not put it on this label because the one that's sewing, we forgot actually. But I do have a whole bunch of them all cut already, and I just have them all ready to go so I can lay it on top when I do my label. Now these two, the heat and stay and the water soluble, they're an essential piece for when you're working with your labels. Now I'm going to show you something else that I think is really wonderful, and besides this Hugo tape, is the when you finish your label. And Debbie, can you hand me that one that's in the hoop already?
Sure.
Because I'm going to take just an old towel, and you're going to take this, as much of you can, like I said, off. And then before you take it off, I do have a couple of scissors that I really, you probably can see this a little bit easier on this way, maybe if I go like this. And there's a little tiny thread here. Do you see that? And I'm going to go real, see how I got it clipped? Real close. And this thread here, you can just clip it, and right away it's going to go away. You can see, yep, put it back there and you can see. So if you didn't get all of the water soluble off here, this is your spray. And of course I put that label with my Scan and Cut. And now watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to spritz it, see, like this. And then I'm going to take a towel underneath and a nice towel for the top. See how I'm just patting it? And now all that other stabilizer, that water soluble, went away. Then I'm going to take and cut with the, if you've got a pinking shears, then it keeps it from fraying.
How far out?
I would say about 1/2 inch. You can determine your corners. You're going to have to miter a little. You're just going to press them out. And then you're going to take your Zirkle, pin them. I do like to pin these. I use, as you see, I'm using my Wonder Clips all the time, but on these labels, the pins are the best, and I believe they're the Nifty Notions one. You can see I've got a label already done. Many of you have noticed that I've done this K England. It's called the Black Diamond. We've shown it in some of our other videos. And what is really cool about this is that I did a stitch right around the edges, and then I trimmed it, and I put these inside. Now I'm going to lay it down and pin it on the corners, and then I'm going to whip stitch it with this little hand. I know we don't like to say hand too often, but I like to put these on by hand because it'll look professional. If you do want to take it off, you will be able to later. So those things I think are really essential when you're working with your notions. The other thing that I wanted to show you, because people have asked me, and I'm going to turn this off just a moment.
The top button.
There you go. You can see that this thread that I threaded that needle with before, it's this is called, it's a 100-weight thread, and it's called Metrazine. And it's a cotton poly, a fully spun. It really is a phenomenal thread. Has a cotton core with a poly wrap. It's a 3-ply. And when I put this matches the background of the thread. And when I whip stitch this on, I usually use this thread. Some people like to use, when I piece with Aurifil. But when I actually put the label on the back of my quilt, the 100-weight Metrazine thread is really the best thread for it. Now that's for this one. If you look at the one that we have in the hoop, see if I have another little piece. And I'll show you another one too. This color is going to be real good for that, because what we will do see how cute this little turtle is turning out, and we will cut around that and we will fold it back into 4 edges, and it'll just be a little rectangle, and then I will hand whip this onto the back of that Amalfi quilt. Now the
only one issue though.
Yes,
I actually made the quilt. Not Nana. And I'm not a Nana yet, Nikki.
So guess what? It's not going to have the turtle on there.
No.
It's going to have...
It was fun making it, though.
Yeah, well, we'll start again so you can see it going on. Another thing that I do use is this beeswax. A lot of people ask me, well, doesn't your thread tangle? Well, I've gotten to know how to use my thread real well, but you can just bring it through these little edges, and it really is a wonderful notion that really takes care of things. There's another scissor that I like real well. This is called the double curve. And when you're using this double curve, again, if I had to get right into that, here's a thread right there. I don't know if you can see it. I just clipped it perfectly because of the fact that this curve, these tips go right, they get curved up this way. They start at the top and then they curve down and curve up. So it's very easy to get in. Even if you're on a hoop, you could go ahead and get into your hoop while it's actually embroidering. So this is a great little tool. You can see my notion that I use a lot. And then, how do you like that back and forth? That was pretty good.
Oh, it's too high. Yeah.
It's too high to see. But I love this one because of the scissors. I can plop all my scissors in, and these are some of my favorite ones with a little applique and again the double curve. The next notion that I want to show you as I'm doing this, I've shown you a couple different curved scissors. This is an OESD one that again is real easy to get in there and clip. And then what do I keep them all in? Well, I keep them in this little toolbox that are very, very easy to see. And you can pull out your little piece that you want. You've got your scissor. This one is a kind of an interesting one. It's called cut. I don't know what it's called, but you can see it's got a curved edge on it, and you can clip it very, very easily, and it's got a nice pad, so when you're clipping like this, it's real easy to do. Now, one of the things that I haven't shown you is what I have on. Well, let me show you these two things first. When you're doing a quilt label, you are going to need to have a bobbin that's usually it's a lighter weight bobbin than what you're doing. And I'm going to turn this off again so I can explain a couple things here. This is a real big bobbin, because one of the things that's so great about this machine, I'm going to pull one over here so you can see it. Look at how big this is. You can look at it from the side. I mean, I could quilt and quilt and quilt and label and label and label, and I'll never run out of thread, it's the largest bobbin in the industry, and it fits right into there. And I take a magic marker or Sharpie, and I mark on mine what kind of thread, like this happens to be 100 weight thread, I think. So I would put that on there. Maybe it's a 50 weight. Whatever thread I'm going to use in the bobbin, because you never can remember exactly what it is. And that way I write it on here and then I don't forget. Now this is a smaller thread holder for your other machines that have got some of the bobbins. I have a little system where I have the full ones over here, and then I have the empty ones here, and I have the real clear ones here. Whatever system works for you, but these on this one are strictly for the bobbin in the machine, because when we're doing a label like this, the label, I mean the fabric, this thread right here is actually a 40 weight embroidery thread. What we're doing on the bobbin is a 60 weight thread, and you don't want to use the same weight top and bottom when you're doing this kind of thread, 40 weight and 60. But if you're using a very fine thread, which we're going to do in a moment, although I think I'll just keep going with this thread. When I get into the tiny lettering, I use the finest embroidery thread I can possibly use because it's very tiny when you get into those letters. You can see on this one again how simple and how easy. See how tiny those letters are? I mean, they're really small. So when you get into really tiny letters like that, you don't want thick, heavy thread piling up on top of each other. And Quilter Select has a wonderful thread that's an 80 weight. Now, this breaks all the rules, so I'm going to go back and show you something else. When you're doing the 80 weight with your thread here, you're going to use the 80 weight on the top and the bottom because it's so fine. And I only do that when I'm working with real fine lettering. If I'm working with a heavy turtle like this, I'm definitely going to use the 40 weight on the top and the 60 in the bottom. Now, Debbie, you're about ready to go into lettering, I think. Do you want to start it and see? I think the lettering will be fine on here, but we'll try it and see what happens. Still not quite ready. Ooh.
So the machine is a 790 quilt special edition, and if you buy this machine, and I believe the special has started from Bernina because we launched it at the Madison,
Right.
the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show. I keep saying greater.
Not the greater.
It's great. And you get the machine that's behind us here.
Right.
With it for free, right here. This little guy right here.
Yeah.
So
well,
$790 and a $480 for free, right?
Yeah, that is unbelievable. Now, why would you need two machines? Anybody got any thoughts on it? Well, number one.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, because she's going to buy this and she's going to give this one, that one to me, right? Or is it the other way around?
No, I think I'm going to keep them both if I buy it. Yeah.
I'll tell you why. The two machines for me, and I have more than that, and I always use the excuse, well, we use them in the store, so I have to have machines. But truthfully, when I am embroidering like this, I want another machine because I can be sewing on it at the same time. And I always have something going on my machine. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people buy them for. But I'll tell you the most important thing, and I'll stop it for a moment, is what I've heard during all this COVID time from people. I was amazed because, we work so closely with a lot of you and we know you quite well. And I always come to events and I always say, well, how many machines do you have? And I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. Many of them have 5, 6, way over that. So it really surprised me during COVID when I would ask people, they were bringing their machines in for service, and they would say, well, how long is it going to be before I get it back? And we could not get them. You heard probably that we had over 300 machines at one time, and we have 7 technicians. So it really was a real hindrance because it took a long time. And I would say to people, you need a second machine because they were sewing every single day. And you're going to be without your machine, even if you're without it for a week. Isn't that when it always happens, when you really want the machine to be there? So I would highly encourage you to really look at, if not one of these beautiful packages, but think about another machine. I think it would be really important. And there's a lucky lady that just won the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show because we gave away a Bernina. And Helen Heise, I believe is her name. Heise, and she's from Wisconsin. So congratulations, Helen. We're hoping you're loving it as a second machine. I also want to tell you that these 2 machines, the one behind me and this, that's a package. And those machines are sold out from Bernina. Out. We've heard that. Now, those of you that bought them from us during the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show, you will get yours. I guarantee you, we've held them for you. We've got them. I know that Jody picked one up today, and I believe another lady is coming. But You are just going to love, love, love these machines. It's Ann Lauer designed it, isn't that right, Debbie?
That's
and
correct.
Isn't there a quilt over there that with the cattitudes or something that's similar?
There is.
And I want you to see, this lady has just got color sense. I mean, just amazing what she did. And when we heard she was doing this one, oops, where are you over here? Look at this. Isn't this beautiful?
Like
now
the,
we
like
have
this is the top.
we have the dogs. What's coming in now? Something with
The peacocks,
oh,
just
yeah,
like the
peacock.
machine.
Yeah, so
Peacocks.
that's going to be really, really spectacular. I just hope you can.
So we have some of these, not this quilt pattern, but we have some of the kits for the same fabric, but for a table runner and 8 placemats.
Oh.
So the fabric is still in if you, a couple of those kits are left at the store.
Great. Okay, so we're coming along on this, and while we are finishing up, we're almost done. Do you want to get it started again while I show them this? Because you can see the turtle part of him and the lettering coming. This is what is on my shirt. And a lot of people ask me, well, what are you wearing? This is actually done on my baby lock. I do have a Solaris, and they have just had a recent upgrade to the Solaris 2. And this is called My Happy Place. And I just love it. I think it's really a fun thing to do. But this crystal embellisher, which many of you, I think, have seen before, it's got the little wand here at the bottom. That wand gets hot. You plug it in, and that wand will get hot, and then you can take all these little different tips. I usually use this one and this one. Sometimes I use this. But what I do is I lay them out on a piece of tile. If you have an old piece of tile, put the shirt over the tile, and then that way you won't destroy your countertop or any other place, because these wands are very hot when they get on, because there's glue on the back of the crystals, and the crystals are Swarovski, so they really do glitter. I can throw this in the washing machine. I turn it inside out. I throw it in the dryer, and never have any trouble with them. They last forever. And when you are going to do this, that glue that's on the back of that little crystal is going to sizzle and just attach to your garment with this wand. So I encourage you, if you haven't done, try a couple. I mean, they're really, really fun to do. The important thing is that you're having fun with it. That's number one. Now you can see this little turtle guy is just amazing, because he's got satin stitches all around him. And then if we can focus back on the screen, you can see where the lettering, see how it's been made with love by Nana. And once we get that design done, then what we'll do is we will cut it with your pinking shears, and then you will fold it and press it with your Laura Star iron, and use your Nifty Notions pins to pin it on. However, I don't think you're going to see it on this quilt, right, Debbie?
No, no.
We'll put it on something that they really love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just step over here for a second and pull another quilt that I want you to see that's really fun, because I want you to know about this lady. This is Kay England's. I mean, I've actually made this in one of Kay's retreats. And you can see how beautiful the label turned out. It says Kay England Galaxy by LindaZ, and the year. And then look at the gorgeous quilting on here. I mean, it was just really fun. It's a beige color, but it picks up all of the bright, fun, sunny colors. And that's what Kay is so well known for, is her color. She is coming to our store in November for Quilt Week. And Debbie, can you come in for a second and just tell them a little bit about Quilt Week? Because I think it's really...
Every year we have a Quilt Week, and our Quilt Week this year is with Kay England. We're going to have some classes on free motion quilting, ruler work quilting. We're going to make a quilt as you go bag.
Ooh, nice.
We're going to make a crazy quilt, and you can cut it either using rotary cutter and ruler, or using an AccuQuilt cube. to make it.
Wow.
There's all kinds of other quilt classes that we're lining up for this. It's all within 1 week. I believe we're having Jerry Granata that week.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Jerry Granata from the brother educator. So that should be also very, very, very fun with him. So you can either sign up for the entire week, or you can sign up for individual classes during the week,
Nice.
or you can sign up for just Kay's retreat. And then you get a price break if you do the whole week, of course.
Okay.
So come have fun with us for the whole week if you can. And
It will be a little limited. It won't be as many as we normally have.
What are the dates exactly? I think it's the week of November 9th, I believe, is when it begins.
Yeah, it's before
Something like
Thanksgiving.
That. So it's 2 weekends that cap each other. We're fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Okay.
The 6th, November 6th is the first event of Quilt Week. It kicks it off, and then it ends with Kay on the following weekend. Yep, that's right. We hope to see many of you come and join us.
I know you've had people that have made and changed their whole vacation schedule and everything because when it was at Thanksgiving time or right before, because of the fact that they know they get so much out of it. I've seen our customers, and I hope some of you are watching, Eve and Bob, and just so many of you that started out as really, actually you'd never quilted before. And what you're showing us now with some of the things you're doing, I mean, I'm just amazed. I really am. I'm just thrilled to see what you're going to come up with next. So I'm going to try and get this label over here because I'm going to turn it off one more time. And I'm going to see if we can get the camera on here again. And I'm going to show you how small this is. See how tiny it is? And look at how perfect. There's little white dots and there's little polka dots throughout here. It looks like a little dusting of flour. And it's really turning out beautiful. So I hope everyone can see that. We're going to move the camera a little bit so you can see it a little bit closer. And that way you'll be able to see exactly what we've done with this wonderful quilt label. And you can even see the little turtle. It's even got a little tail there and his little fins. I mean, he's a really pretty peach quilt. Oh, I love him. Yes, you see how sweet it is? There we go. We're going to find something for this, Debbie, without a doubt. So we'll let it finish, and I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else that we haven't covered. I know it was a lot today, but a lot of these little techniques I hope are helping you, and go try them out. You know, a quilt label, this is a lot heavier because we're doing the design around it. But when you get these smaller quilt labels like this one, you know, these are going to run. This took me literally from the time I put the thread on till the time this was done, it took me exactly 7 minutes. So I would encourage you to try and do this yourself. Do you have any quilts at home that aren't quite finished? Take some of your scraps. I mean, duh, I think we all do. Take some of your scraps and just try one. Get yourself some of the stabilizer. Or you can use a block if you made an extra block for your quilt that didn't make it into the quilt. You can use that as a yeah, I don't know if you heard what Debbie said, but she said take an extra block and put it into the quilt as your label. I've actually seen people take the whole back of a quilt and do large letter. I mean, it's your imagination. It's your creativity. There's no right and wrong. You're going to give this away, or you're going to be giving it to yourself, and have some creativity, but you definitely want to be able to sign it and know who did the quilt so that the person that gets it in the future, say 50, 100 years from now, they'll know who that person is. Okay. All right. So I hope we've helped you. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you again. Bye. See you next Thursday.